Hello, everybody. Well, there's going to be a little bit of an echo here today. Let me tweet out that we're live. Man, that is a loud echo. This is what happens when you have a big house. 1 second. I thought that because a lot of people have nothing to do today, some of you are stuck at home by yourselves, I thought it'd be fun to show some of the things that I am thankful for. And one of the things I really enjoyed about moving to Texas is my succulent collection, which I kind of got really over when I was in Brooklyn, are now really thriving. Because I got into succulents when I moved to my new apartment in Brooklyn. Then I remember I went to a trip in LA, and something that moved like a centimeter a year in my house was the size of a bush. And it just was very frustrating. But now here, they are ecstatic. First of all, there's a little big myth about succulents, which is this idea that they're like really easy. All a succulent is a plant that has modified part of its anatomy to store water. That's all it means. It means a type of survival mechanism. So you could have a succulent onion, you could have a succulent tree, you could have a succulent orchid. I have a succulent orchid I'll show you in a second. Or succulent cactus. All cactuses are succulents. So because I have all this space, the thing is I had to rearrange my brain, because in Brooklyn, it's like, do you want another plant? Do you want another plant? Like, you don't have the room. Here I've got the whole deck. So I've been going crazy with the succulents. Since I've moved here, I got 150, which sounds like a lot and is a lot, but they're often very inexpensive. So I'm going to go through some of the ones that I have, and I hope people will enjoy it. This is going to be a nice little wholesome thing for the whole family. It's a little warm in here. I'm going to turn the heat. 1 second. Okay, I hope for this. So I'm on my laptop, so I hope that the camera quality is good enough that people can kind of see what it is I am showing them. So let's do this. Okay. Oh yeah, you can see this fine. So this is a new one. I hate it when plants are grafted. So what happens is a lot of times if a plant is weak on its own roots, meaning it's very kind of adapted to a certain environment, they'll cut the bottom half of it off, cut the top half of another species, and kind of they grow into each other. The most common cactuses, those red moon cactus you see at the store, those are all grafted because they don't have chlorophyll. So this, here's the thing. Here's the other thing that's really funny. When you're into reptiles, aquariums, plants, whatever, you have to use the Latin names, because what you might call like a blue tree in New York is not a blue tree in Australia or is not in Japan. So you always use the Latin names so you know exactly what you're getting. But because these names are only written, I don't know how to pronounce half of them. So if someone is a botanist, I'm gonna sound like a complete fresh off the boat freak, which I am, number one. And what was my other point with that? So for example, there's a plant that's a very common genus called Kalanchoe. You think it's Kalanchoe. No, it's Kalanchoe. How you're supposed to know this, I don't know. Okay, so I have my list, because I don't even remember half the names. I just remember them if I saw it in writing. So this one is Rebutia, Rebutia. And this is interesting because this version has no spines. How do I do this? So you can see it's grafted, it's spineless, it's putting out offsets, and it looks kind of nice and crazy. This is a species that's new to cultivation. I mean, the spineless version, it's not common at all. I just got it. When did I get this? Just a couple of weeks ago. And this is a really cool one. This is Maihuenia, Maiuhenia, and it's a leafy cactus, which is very uncommon for a cactus to have leaves. But more importantly, it's from up in the Andes, so it can survive like 30 degrees below. I just brought it in because I had it on my deck and it kept getting tipped over. There was a storm yesterday, and I was just dreading going on the balcony or the deck and seeing them all decimated. And this was the only one that was knocked over. Sorry, Mom, I'm doing a live stream. So these are some cool ones. Let me see if I should turn the light on, if that'll make it better to see the cactuses. Does that make a difference? Does that make a difference? I don't think it makes a difference. You can see it. Okay. Couple more. So this is something that is called a sport. Now, a sport is basically the plant version of, you know, the R word, like when someone is born all effed up. So a sport is a plant that has a severe mutation that doesn't look anything like the real species. And the reason you know what the species is sometimes the sport reverts to its normal form. So this one, and sports aren't going to live in nature, they're only in cultivation. This is known as Fred, a wacky Fred, or red coral sport. But you can see, hopefully, it's just got all these little tubercles popping up. It looks absolutely crazy and looks nothing like the species that it is. And there's a few spines where it's reverting, which you can see if you look close to the top. See that white? So this I just got this week. And this one I really like. This is Corypantha. Which species? Where is it? Sunderlandi. And it just looks like a bunch of like nipples. This is a cactus. Some versions of this species have long spines. That looks cooler, I think, without the spines. Okay, let's wait a couple more. Okay. This is one of my absolute favorites. So this is Euphorbia abdelkuri, and it is from the Abdelkur Peninsula, archipelago, outside of Yemen. Now, what's amazing about this species is its sap is so, what's the word for it? I don't remember what the word is, but the point is caustic. The sap is so caustic that if you got it on your skin, it would seep through to your bone. So this is something you have to handle with great care. And just, it looks like it's dead, but it is not. And it's growing very happily here in Austin. So that's a rare one, and they're really cool. And this is one of my other favorites. This is, looks like driftwood. It's Phakia multiflora, also known as Cyberhiza. It just dropped the leaves for the winter. It's in dormancy right now. But these things get the size of like the Codex, like the size of like a sofa. They get just absolutely gigantic. And maybe someday I'm going to save up and get a really huge one. So this has been around. I've had this for like 15 years. It's barely grown in Brooklyn, but hopefully it's going to really do something nuts here in Austin. I'll probably get it a bigger pot once the spring hits. Okay. This is from Tanzania. This is Monodemium shubai. Can I get a good, you can see what it looks like. And it's really happy because it's putting out flowers for me. When this gets stressed, it turns purple. I don't know the difference between Monodinium and Euphorbia. Sometimes they put the genus as one. Sometimes they separate Monodinium. But this is just really kind of crazy looking. Then we have, this is something I could never, it never lived happily in Brooklyn, and here it's just absolutely giddy. This is the inchworm plant, Senecio pendula. And what it wants to do, it's kind of like a dolphin. It goes into the ground, then it puts out another stem and kind of makes these little hoops. You could see this growth. It's only been a couple of weeks since it's been here in Texas. I thought it was going to be dormant, but it's actually really happy. So that is a cool one. I think these are the remnants of flowers right over there at the top. So that's kind of fun. Okay. This one is really, really cool. This is schizobasis. So it's a bunch of bulbs, and then it looks like it puts out this kind of like TV antenna thing. And each of those, it has little flowers. You can see the white ones, but the thing is it's self-fertile. So it puts out little seeds. You can see the black dots are seeds. So if you have one of these, it'll be in every pot in your plant, in your house in weeks. It's toxic, but just that little kind of mist of stems looks really, really awesome. Here's the other thing with plants is like sometimes because I stopped caring about them for a few years and now I'm back into them again. So some species were really easy to find and now some of them are like impossible to find. This is one of those species which was very hard to find, but now in Thailand, it's like a good luck thing. So it's very easy to find. This is Stephania erecta. And what's really cool is it puts out leaves that look like discs. And they have to send it to you rootless. And let me see if it's rooted. Let's find out. It has not put out roots yet. Oh, well, that's okay. But it's got like 5 growing points you can kind of see there. So this is going to be really fun. This is Abrogonia. It's known as the artichoke cactus. You can see why. So that's pretty cool. I got a bigger one. They grow pretty slowly. This is another sport. This one is called Fred. It's grafted. I hate it when they're grafted, but look at that thing. Isn't that crazy? It looks like it's just covered in pimples, just like all of you. So that's Mammillaria bocasana Fred. So there's a genus named Haworthia, which is very common in cultivation. They look really cool. Here's 2 species that are absolutely amazing. They have windows to let in light for photosynthesis. This one is Haworthia mutica, and it looks like frosted glass, the leaves. Isn't that cool? And this one is Haworthia Mogani, and this one looks even cooler. Look at those leaves. Let me see if I can get it so you can see this. Where's the camera on this? There you go. They have a flat top and they've got little lightning strikes on the leaf surfaces. This is a genus that's very uncommon. It's called Aztecium. It's from Mexico. And you can see that it's like, looks like a filter of some kind. You see those lines? They're really cool. So it's grafted, so it's growing much bigger faster normally than it would. My wife is on a succulent jag right now. I will not shower her this. You should not put these in the shower, that's for sure. This is a mutant, Haworthia magnifica, which came out of the Huntington. Huntington is a big botanical garden in Los Angeles, and they propagate plants to keep them alive. And this is a mutation. Oh, it's putting out flowers of Haworthia magnifica. It's a little thirsty because the leaves are thin, but look at this. Isn't that crazy looking? By the way, none of these are like that I've shown are particularly expensive. That's what makes them really fun. Okay. So this is from Socotra, which is an island off the coast of Yemen. And Plectranthus socotra, it's a mint. It's putting out a lot of new leaves. If you can see, like sometimes the leaves look like kind of a snake head in a sense. What's interesting about this species, or this genus rather, is that the leaves smell like Vicks if you touch them. And there was a species of this in North Korea on a farm, and I told my guide to, touch the leaves and smell her fingers, haha. And she just looked at me like, how the hell did I know that this plant was going to smell? This is one that was impossible to find a few years ago, and now it's been propagated heavily. This is Crassula quad. But that species genus has a lot of species where they have these stacked leaves, and you can see how, and the stems put out offsets. It's just becoming a whole situation. I love how this looks. All right. So this is called Mammillaria Perez de la Rosa. It's called the silken pincushion because it's got little fish hooks. The spines are black at the tip. They look like they're toasted marshmallow or something. They're white at the top, at the bottom, and black at the tip. It's supposed to be all white. It's kind of a little stretched out. And this is another one, which something I really like. They're kind of tricky to grow. This is Cotyledon undulata. You can see the leaves have frills, and you don't touch them, because you touch them, it wipes away the farina, and that's permanent, it doesn't grow back. So you have to wait for the leaves to grow out. If you look at the innermost leaves, you can see they're perfect. And in the male, of course, they got a little touched and messy. This is Crassula tecta. The leaves absorb moisture from the air, so it's kind of called like a lung plant. And if you look closely, you can see the texture of the leaves. So they're really cool. This is another really amazing species because I had to get it, because it's the kind of thing when you look at it in a picture, you don't know what you're looking at. So this is bulbine. It could be bulbine or bulbine. I don't know how it's pronounced. B-U-L-B-I-N-E. Mesembryanthemoides. So what's cool about this plant, this is a very young one, is it mimics those Haworthias, which have the flat top. And I'm like, how does it do that, right? So it grows out with a tip, and then the tip collapses and it gives itself a flat top. Unlike those which grow out with a flat top, this mimics it. And you can see a little bit of white over here where the tip flattened itself out. Happy Thanksgiving to you. So this is something that really, really bothers me. I was like the first person on the East Coast to get this cultivar, and now it's at fucking Home Depot. Because what they do is if something's desirable, they will get it leaf, then put in a lab and they can clone it, and you're going to have millions overnight. So that's kind of the frustration of being a succulent collector. This is Echeveria raindrops because it looks like it has a drop of water on each of the leaves. Can you see? I don't want the soil to fall out, it's the problem. So that's a really cool one. And this is Ornithogalum sardieni, I think. Did I get that right? Yeah, who cares? And it's just a cool little bulb that's evergreen and offset. It's already splitting into two. You can see at the base, it's splitting into two. So yeah. I gotta tell you, I brought in the plants to keep them dormant for the winter, and some of them aren't going dormant. They're actually really happy here in the Texas, the amount of light. So, oh, there's a spider on this one. That's cool. This is Euphorbia biplurifolia. How do I do this? Hold on. I'm on the laptop. Comment. So it's I think it's extinct in nature, but you can get them in cultivation. It looks like a pineapple. And this one is offsetting. And I thought it was going to go dormant for the winter because it was dropping leaves, but it is not. You know what? The leaves have spots on them, so I think there's a root parasite. I'm going to have to get on top of that. Do you have a P.O. box? I do not need San Pedro. Those are not my thing, but thank you for that. I do have a P.O. box if it's on michaelmalice.com/contribute. You know, the day destroys the night, night divides the day, try to run, try to hide, break on through. Yes, that's very true. Hold on a second. And thank you very much. And this is really a fun one. This is Greenovia. Wow. Family uninvited me for Thanksgiving. That's horrible. That's horrible. Would you be interested in having Gina Florio? I don't know who that is. Should I know who that is? Shalom. That's, I can't say because I don't want to get demonetized. That's not an insult, but my favorite thing you've ever tweeted. Happy Thanksgiving. This is Greenovia. And what's cool about Greenovia is that in the winter, or in the summer, excuse me, it's summer dormant, right? It closes up, and then when it gets cooler, it opens up the rosette. So this is Greenovia. And the thing is they're monocarpic, which means they flower once and then they die. But they put out offsets, so you'll have those. Here's another one. Now, this is when it first became part of cultivation, everyone was all ecstatic about it, and now they're very common. These are supposedly extremely hard to keep because they rot very easily. And what's amazing about them is when you look at the thumbnail for this live stream, they put out these gigantic flowers, like they're called Persian carpet flower. The fact is you can kind of see where the stems are a little different from the others. It's been growing very well in Texas. I brought this back from Los Angeles, was out on a trip there. Game you might enjoy, Disco Elysium. I have seen that. Thank you. And this is a cultivar, which means man-made. And this is called Dracula's Blood. And what's cool about Dracula's Blood, if we can look, is it's got red teeth in the good sunlight. And there's this kind of textured version of aloe, which they use in a lot of hybrids, which gives it something kind of cool sculptural element. This is one that's become common, but they still look crazy. Mesems are a succulent family, which are very sculptural, and they grow usually in leaf pairs. Oh, this one's a little thirsty, but you're going to see this a lot. They don't know what genus it belongs to. You see it at Delosperma, you see it as Corpuscularia, but they look like Pac-Man. You know, he opens it, and then the next pair comes out perpendicularly. These are common now, but they're still cool. And this is, so monstrose is when a plant grows in a certain messed up way. So plants have offsets, right? You'll have the big mother plant, the little ones around it. When they offset prolifically, it's called monstrose. And this is a Copiapoa monstrose. You can see how many heads there are. It's absolutely crazy. It just keeps reproducing. And in the good sunlight, it gets nice and black. So that's pretty cool. So this is one I brought back from Brooklyn, which I really love. And you can see how at a certain time when they age, it's called corking. The old body is orange, but look how happy the new growth is. This is Euphorbia suppressa. It just becomes this fat sphere with all these little bumps on it, just like really hideous looking, which I of course love. And this is Haworthia badia. And you can see the long tongue-like leaves. So this is a Chinese cultivar of the species, but I think it looks really good. It's nice and pink looking too. So before I moved into this place, I was because my house, all my stuff was en route. So for a week, I stayed at a hotel here, and this is the first plant I got when I was in Austin. I got it when I was in the hotel, and the thing about this is, 4 years ago, it was like $300 because this is like a cultivar, and now they cloned it, and it was 30, excuse me. But this is Haworthia splendens. How do I do this? You can see the leaves are nice and pink and textured. It's really kind of crazy looking. And this one, I'm glad they sent it in the pot because it's supposed to be tricky. This is Pygmaeocereus. Look at those little spines. Look how cool they are. Isn't that cool? All right. So This is my favorite plant that I have. And maybe if it does well this year, I'm gonna buy a gigantic one. This is Adenia globosa. It wasn't doing anything in Brooklyn for a long time. That sphere had deflated. And then one day here on the deck, it just puffed up, which meant that it put out roots finally. So this is toxic. This is sphere, and then it puts out vines covered in thorns. Absolutely hideous. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna, if it lives for a year happily here, I'm gonna get an absolutely gigantic one, which are not cheap, but it's such a, God, it's got such an impact, huh? This is mellow cactus. I don't know what species the person who sent it didn't know. These are very tricky because the roots are weak. And if you water too much, they die. If they water not enough, they die. After a certain point, they stop growing, and then it just grows the cephalium, which is where it has flowers and then fruit. And you could see the dead flowers at the top, those white things. So this is very old, and they're very hard to find when they're this old. So this is mellow cactus. They're just absolutely insane looking. This is Haemanthus deformis. I think it's called deformis because it has leaves and flowers at the same time, whereas most other species in the genus, they leaf, then the leaves shrivel, puts out flowers. The leaves get very huge on this bulb, and they're actually hard. They curve down, but it's not because they're floppy, it's because they actually curve. It's not doing so hot because what happens is every year it absorbs last year's leaves and puts out a new pair, and the new pair is bigger than the year before. And this one, it hasn't been doing that. So they need very little light. But if you look, they get like a foot wide. They get absolutely gigantic. So that's Haemanthus deformis. And this is Haworthia emilia. And you can see how cool those leaves are. They're gray, and you can see through them. So this is Titanopsis promosi, and it looks really whimsical. It looks like strawberries or something in a cartoon. So it's supposed to mimic rocks. I don't know what rocks look like that, but I think they're absolutely adorable. These are also supposedly tricky, but it's doing pretty well for now. And this is Euphorbia physodermis, because physodermis, fish scales. It's grafted, but look at that plant. It just looks like it's just a ball of fish scales. Isn't that crazy? Okay. And this will be the last one for now. Then I can answer some questions. This is Pachypodium gracilius. It's a huge caudex. These get massive, and it puts out stems. And it's doing really well. I'm gonna put this back. Oh, it just formed a new branch. I didn't even notice that right here. That's a new branch. That means it's thriving. That's really cool. Hell yeah. Wait, one more. This is Duval Yandra. It's also from the Socotra, the coast of Yemen. The flowers are, if you look at my Twitter, search for Duval Yandra, the flowers they're red and glistening, and they look like meat, and they smell like rotting meat to attract flies, which are the pollinator. And when it gets hotter, the smell gets stronger, which is appropriate because rotting meat would smell more in the heat. So I got that to flower in Brooklyn, so it'll definitely be able to flower here. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, now I think I could do some questions and then I can bounce. That was half an hour and there's still like only half of them. Ugh. This is how we win. Amen, brother. Okay. Whew. So for Thanksgiving later today, it's Blair White's hosting. It's going to be me, Raka Ali, whose shirt I'm wearing, Chris Williamson, Blair's fiance Joey, a couple of her friends. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If anyone has any questions, we can do that now. And if not, I can bounce. I'm really pissed. Oh, wait, there's one more thing. Hold on. This is Gymnocalycium, and there was a propagator in Russia because these have crazy spines who was reproducing them. And I got these through customs. When they get bigger, like some of these spines look absolutely insane, I got to tell you. These are just seedlings, of course. But I had another one of these species in succulent, then customs just seized it yesterday. Okay, what's this question say? How do I do this? Here comes the boomer. Here comes the boomer. Let's see. I got that one. Succulents are a lot cooler than I thought they'd be. Amanda Milius. Oh, she's hilarious. Yo, that girl does not play. Wow, she is. I am afraid of her. That's for sure. Hi from Arizona. Thanks for all you do. Do you have any lithops? No, lithops are annoying because you're only supposed to water them 3 months a year. And if I'm going to have these things outside and there's rain, it's a pain in the ass. Michael, you haven't answered me. Hello. All I want for Christmas is malice in his sheath under my tree. Do you mean like in a funeral wrap? That sounds dark. Happy Thanksgiving, Michael. I'm thankful for your thoughts today. Okay, well, that's very nice of you. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode with Mark Hemingway. I thought it was a good one. How can I bridge a divide between me and people who hate me for being unvaccinated? I'm all for creating divides. I don't think you should be bridging a divide because if they're hating you for irrational reasons, I don't think there's any interest. If someone supports you, they should support you for who you are. You know what I mean? I keep hearing Belarus is dictatorial, but I also read there's some of the most black-scum laws in the world. Do you have any thoughts as to the political climate? I have literally no thoughts of Belarus at all. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know anything about it. I literally can't even find it on a map. Can you mention again how you read and take notes? Sure, it's very easy. I just, at the back of the book, or I usually read my books on my iPod, I'll just do a screen cap. That's it. And if it's a book, I'll at the inside back cover, I'll just write the page number. I've been asking you out, Michael. Oh, that's very sweet of you. But I can't, I mean, where do you even, that's not kind of my thing. And that's how people get murdered. Isn't that how people get murdered? I don't want to get murdered. Honest thoughts on Austin. I am absolutely ecstatic. I'm here. I don't miss New York at all. I will say it's a lot smaller than New York. There's less to do in that sense, but I don't think there's much to do in New York nowadays either. So, and also there's so many people doing cool things here, and it's a very collegial environment. When you introduce people to each other, they become friends right away, which is something in New York you didn't have, because in New York you have to be on guard. You know, who's this person? Are they going to try to mess with me? You know, all that stuff. So I absolutely love it here. And I get to have all these cool plants. So it's kind of fun. Okay. Here's some gas money now that you're driving. Happy Thanksgiving. Trey, I have not even taken a single step toward learning how to drive. Yeah, I'm going to get a gun before I get a driver's license. Thanks for the retweet on The Anarchist. I am so happy, not joking, that you wrote The Anarchist Handbook podcast series. That's exactly awesome. The Dave Smith Rothbard episode was fire. Hope to get you for the last one, your chapter. It's probably not going to happen. I have too much work on my plate. But maybe, but I don't know. I really want to finish this book. Why succulents? I have a pretty intense rare monstera and philodendron collection, but I just can't keep succulents alive. Honestly, the only reason I got into succulents was I went to Home Depot when I was moving into my old apartment, and they had a Ripsalis. I didn't know what it was called at the time. And it just looked like a decision tree, because it was just like a little stem, and then it separated into two, and then those separated into two. And it was just hanging. I thought that was cool. And then everything else was history. That's why I can't get a tattoo, because if I got a tattoo in a week, I'd have 200. Sheath as in your sponsor, not a funeral wrap. Yeah, I get it. I was making a joke. I know. I'm wearing sheath right now. Wait, I'm not wearing. No, I'm kidding. I am wearing sheath right now. I love sheath, and I love promoting them. Okay, let me put this and this away very quickly, very easily. Oh, wait, hold on. There's one more. Remember how I was talking about the mesems and how they have leaf pairs? This is Gibeum Shandy. I put this on my Instagram. Look at this thing. Look. It's like a Muppet. And there's a little one, the offset. And every year what happens is that mouth opens up and next year's leaf pair comes out. Like it's vomiting up its own kids. Whew. All right. Oh, there's a lot of you guys here. Okay, let's see if I can catch up. I gotta go take a shower. Is there a favorite new food or drink you found in Austin so far? Yes. First of all, the tacos here are amazing. That's not a myth. You're not going to find a bad one at all. Yeah, and also poke, which is terrible in New York, where I've ever had it, because it's like all rice and like a piece of tuna. There's a great poke place, which I really like. Have a very happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for spending a few minutes with all the lonely people. Of course. It's my sincere pleasure. Let me put this one back. Wow. I can't show it, but I have a roadkill cactus, which is flat. It grows in like 2D, and it's 4 feet tall, so it's like a little bit taller than me. I brought it all the way back from Brooklyn, and for the first time, it's big enough where it's putting out pads, not in 2D, it's not in 360 degrees, and I'm really excited to see what develops. There. It could be putting out flowers. I don't know. Okay, I am going to, what time is it? Oh, 2:45. I'm going to head out. I just thought this might be fun for you guys to see some of my collection and where some of the spite funding money is going. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. I finally bought some sheath underwear at Skankfest South, and they're amazing. They are amazing. Hope you all have a good day. I'm certainly having an amazing day. And I'm just, the thing is, in Brooklyn, when I got these succulents, like I'd say like 1 out of 12 would die immediately. And here they're all happy, except for like 3 died, and 1 that I thought died came back. It just put out new leaves. I just was too lazy to throw out the pot. So things are really good here. If you are feeling by yourself on Thanksgiving, please join my locals. It's free. Lots of people there have made friends with each other. So if you don't want to post, you can still look at it and find people who think similar to you. So that might be something to do. Rewatching your Yaron Brook podcast is calling an objectivist Platonism the greatest insult. Yes. And you ever troll them with the simulation theory? No, I'm not big on trolling. Yeah, I like Yaron. So it's also easy to troll him in the sense that he's excitable. So I don't really need to do much. And I don't think I don't think objectivists would have any issue with simulation theory, because under objectivism, if we were in a simulation, that would even validate objectivism, because that would demonstrate there are certain specific rules that this universe we're in are privy to. Thoughts on Dave Smith, Scott Greer debate? Are they actually doing it? I saw they were going back and forth. So it's I'm sure it'll be interesting. Debates don't really do it for me. I don't even know what they're going to be debating about. So yeah, so that's that. Okay, I will talk to you all soon. Gobble, gobble, and have a good day.